people laughed, few people cried. Most people were silent. I remember the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty. To impress him, takes on its multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all felt that, one way or another.
It's Monday, and guess who's already on the panel? It's the one and only Hasan. How you doing, mate?
Doing good there, Manny. How are you? Doing good,
I'm very
brother.
good, very good. Thank you very much for joining me on this Monday's interview, Hasan.
My absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Always here to help.
Good
How you been anyway, Manny? Do you want to put the camera on? Scare a couple of your viewers.
Yeah. Okay. Let me warn them first. I'm only joking. Hey, go on, Hasan. You're growing a beard, mate. Have you lost anything?
Yep,
Do you find bits of breakfast in there when you wake up?
Yeah, sometimes, man. It's a midnight snack, innit? It's one of them ones you just got like twits. I remember that was in the twits, innit? That guy with the big bushy things with like food particles in there. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. Keeps my face warm.
Does Dawn like your beard? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, Dawn's chilled girl, man. Sometimes when she's chilled, like Dawn's chilled. Like, she's not got any of those requisitions. You got to be like this. You got to be like that. With her, just leave her alone, and she's good, man. She's one of them ones, man. But yeah,
well, good
how you been anyway, Manny?
Busy bee, suffering from a few migraines. Just busy as normal. I'm as you know, I'm a bit of a geek. I'm a workaholic, so I don't really do too much fun stuff. Having said that, I was in the Cotswolds this weekend. I went to a couple of villages, things like that. Went out for dinner in Watford, of all places. Won't be doing that again. but yeah, it was all right. It was good. It was all good. What about you? What did you do the bank holiday weekend?
To be honest with you, I was bitching all through the Jubilee, which was a bank, well, sort of like the bank holiday, but prior to on the Thursday. I'm absolutely laughing at the turnout on there. That was really low. The quality of the shows. I did that pretty much. I just had to go there. And the usual, what I normally do, like post about 1,000 posts on Speaker's Corner online, to understand me. And that's about it. Had a great meal with Dawn. A little chit chat. That's the usual monotonous things, you know, that Wish I had that life that I've had to retire from that workaholic style life that you've got currently. Do you understand me? But apart from that, Manny, just a good old. Do you understand me? Just looking forward to the questions. I've noticed a couple of the people in the comments are sort of like
Yeah,
championing
they're
you and
relishing
hoping you're
this.
gonna.
I'm,
Yeah, that's one of them.
I'm just sharing your profile on Speakers Corner online. You do not only post a fair whack of information, you actually post a lot of good information. I don't always agree with it entirely, but that's not the point. The point is getting as many different views.
That one's an
On
interesting one. Have you seen that one?
this one
Just
here.
one more up. No, the one more up.
That one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one, but that link
That's a very
rings a bell. I think
peculiar.
you said that to me earlier on, didn't you?
Yeah, and that's the reason why I sent it to because like I don't want to just come across as this person that's out there hating. Like, I know it comes across like that, and I'm fully aware that it does come across like that, and that's somewhat intentionally on my behalf as well. I want to, because I've noticed when people go, "Oh, there's a problem here," no one really listens. So you've got to sound a little bit emotionally off a bit. You understand me? For people to sort of like pick up and like notice. Thank you, Dawn. So it's one of them ones, but my issue is it's just needs to stop, man. Like all this madness, just so we could just heal, and that's really it. Like, if you were to ask me, you got hate for people? No, man. Like, the hate is not going to resolve this issue. It's just going to bring on more hate. And opportunities that come from there, in regards to funding the war.
So let's start on there, right? I mean, your stance on Israel is, I would, if somebody asked me how would you describe Hasan's stance on Israel and Jews, and I would say hatred. I don't know when you're angry if you're saying it. I don't know if you've had a bit of a smack, but some of the things you do say can only be regarded as if you're venting a lot of frustration and bordering on hatred. So where does your stance come from? Now, my question is twofold. What is your stance on Israel and why? And what is your stance on Jewish people and why? Because the Israeli state and the Jewish people are two very different things.
I don't think they are, personally speaking. I mean, just because there's a law in Israel that states that you can't be Jewish on Israeli soil, you can't be recognized as Jewish on Israeli soil, is just that. Like, it's just a bit of paper that, in the grand scheme of things, means nothing. Like, it's classified the Jewish homeland. Like, and they got that through the 1800-year-old contract that we're supposed to believe that that's their holy land. Well, that's it. So like, how are these two things like becoming different? Yeah. Well, it does if there's a government that says that you can't be recognized as a Jew.
Okay, so you don't feel that the Jewish people or the Israeli state have a right to claim the land upon which that country sits as being the rightful owners of that land. You don't think that's true, right? Now, obviously, there is a lot of discussion, a lot of information about how Henry Kissinger went over to the Palestinians and made an agreement and signed up the Israeli state essentially to become what it is. Now, we can't go into whether or not Israel has a right to be there because we don't have that information to hand. We're going to leave that open. But Israel is a country. It's recognized as a country right now. What is your stance on that? I mean, we know that the Israeli government can be very, very harsh. I mean, they vaccinated 90% of their population with very little remorse, knowing what those chemicals were going to do. So we know the government, like most governments, they're very evil. But what's that got to do with the Jewish people? Aren't they victims of Israel as well?
Okay, so if these people are victims, why are they here there? I mean, they literally a country that was what 74. Like, I can remember 72 was a sort of like a date that I can remember in regards to being a significant part of Israel's history. Like from 72 to now is not many years. Not many years. There's villages older than this in regards to it. How did it become so successful? How?
Okay, so now we're going towards a conspiracy, or maybe it's not a conspiracy. Maybe it is more open knowledge now. You're now going to take the conversation, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there's some kind of synergy behind closed doors to make the Jewish people more successful than others.
Well, that is the case. I mean, again, like me being on this telephone doesn't do this justice. Like if I had my laptop here, I could, like, I've sent you just a few little dribs of information that is common knowledge, but because media doesn't back it up, it's gonna stay for the minority. Like the banks that were made to put this inflation on was done by a handful of Jews in I believe it's Jacob's Creek.
Okay. Now, before we go on to the banking side of things, that's an interesting
again, which is funding.
I just want to say, Hasan, that statistically speaking, Jewish people do have the highest IQ.
In regards to what?
Well, whatever the IQ test is.
I'll give you an example. That is correct, because you've been put in a privileged position. Ryan Dawson makes this great argument of, if you get a group of people and you feed them and you water them and you make sure they're nourished, well, yeah, of course they're going to have a better grasp of things. But if you put everyone on an equal footing, to be honest with you, I've not seen really some ingenious, smart moves done by Jewish people. I really haven't. I really haven't. I've seen a lot of nicking. I've seen a lot of espionage. I've seen a lot of double-handedness. Maneuvers.
That's all political figures around the world. It's not just Jewish people.
Yeah, no. What tends to happen is that you get society that will correct that, though, once they have been informed. But if you've got a society that holds down the news, puts people in positions where they're running a state from another state that's not even in the country, well, how are you going to get?
All major countries do that, Hasan.
Not at the degree, and what's the point? Who are these other people? Like the people that you're mentioning are for working on behalf of or are a part of Israel. Like your arms, your banking, your political movements. I mean, it's all a sworn declaration to the state of Israel. Which one going against that narrative? I'm not arguing here, Manny.
Yeah, I know. Let me touch on that point about the banking. Now, I'm not a historian by any stretch of the imagination, but I have come across historical accounts, and I don't know how accurate they are. But however, they have embedded in my mind that many years ago, certainly far back as the Romans, the banking industry was, or the profession was seen as somewhat of a bad profession, because essentially you were charging tax and you were regarded as robbing the average Joe. And the only community that would dirty their hands with that profession was those who follow the Jewish tradition. Like I said, I'm not a historian. I don't have books and books on this, but I have read literature and I have come across information in regards to this. So over time, obviously, that profession was very closely knit with that community. But that's not just the Jewish people having a specialist profession. If that information is true, we have other races, other ethnicities, other groups and countries that also have these type of specialities, whether it's winemaking or whether it's a warrior class or whether it's engineering and what have you. And over time, obviously, as governments became more sophisticated and started to rob people on a much more mass scale, especially as globalism took a hold of the world, then the system of the fiat currency system became more powerful, and as a consequence, those that were the pillars of that profession became powerful and rich as well. Can you not see how it could have been if that information
they
I'm
were
speaking
always.
to, it could be a natural course of things?
Again, though, like we've made this assumption that money was invented and no one else saw the benefit. Like, I mean, like seriously, like when you hear it from someone say that, couldn't this be the case? It's like, how would that be the case if everyone needed money to start off something? Okay, so everyone got the meaning of money, but it was only the Jews that understood the importance of it and were willing to dirty their hands. Again, that self-sacrificing Jew that we like to portray. That's fucking bullshit, bro. Like they've been known to be kicked out of several societies. According to historical,
correct, but I never said that the financial profession is a profession to be upheld. I was just merely stating.
Why not? Kings would give gifts. I mean, where would they be getting this? I mean, it was, no one gets nothing for free. Back then, especially, we're living in a world where it's more freer now. In freeness, there's people being more charitable now than there has ever been. According to society, this is the best time of society that has ever been. You understand me? In regards to it, like we're more generous in regard. But when it comes to the importance of money, like, and it was the Jews that were willing to get their hands dirty. No, it was just rigged that way. When money was invented, it was invented. It's like with Facebook, with the internet. Everyone's thinking, and you can't blame the person that makes the industry to make the profit from that. No one's complaining about that if that is what happened, but that's not what does happen. For example, this nuclear, the war that Benjamin Netanyahu stole the secrets for. We've gone into other countries warring with these people, warring with them, knowing that the information that was given to us is fake. Like, no, they haven't got the nuclear secrets. They didn't steal them because the person that is making that accusation was the one that stole it. So you knowing that, and you're going into other people's countries saying that, no, this is what's happening, while you've got your nuclear arsenal behind you, ready, with the secrets still kept their secret. How are you justifying that? How? Well, look, and you've not made the nuclear weapon. You've not done anything about it, but you're going to claim that's yours now.
There's a fair few countries that possess, or certainly other countries that possess nuclear weapons that haven't, made them. I mean, Pakistan is one of them. Pakistan hasn't even built their own hairdryer, and yet they've managed to get a nuclear long-range missile. And obviously, North Korea, though it's now claiming it to have invented X, Y, and Z, hadn't even built a car engine, and yet they were showing off Chinese long-range and short-range missiles. So look, going back, you still really haven't answered my question on how to providing any justification. I mean, I'm not agreeing or disputing your stance on the Israeli state. However, I am disputing your stance that you're muddying the discrepancies of the Israeli state with the Jewish people. I think that's unfair, because just like you and I who are in Britain, we're not okay with the crimes of the state. We're not okay with the vaccination, with the
I
war,
disagree. I think we
poisoning of
are.
the water. So basically, you're saying that if you are holding the Jewish people in Israel accountable for the crimes of the state, then you yourself should be held accountable for the crimes of the British state.
That, again, if you're not shouting out about it, like, I'll be honest with you, I see some injustices going on in Palestine and Israel. Now, the ones that are shouting out against it, I'm not going to blame them, but show me the numbers, man. Like, show me these big numbers that really don't like what their country's doing, like
Well, they're not big numbers.
warring all the time. 26
But,
million sounds like a big number.
but they're not
From
big.
my understanding, the population of Israel is what what has it gone up recently? But if you got something along those lines of numbers, where's the demonstration? Where's your integrity to keep your people's name clean? Where? I've not seen it. I've seen the opposite. I've seen the total opposite of it. I see when your country does some devastating things, you're cheering about it. I even saw like Palestinian, like Jews, like Israeli Jews, happy as fuck that a Christian reporter working for an American station gets shot. And this was since then we've had another one from Somalia that has got shot. Like, where's the accountability? And yet we're meant to be okay with this? No, bro. You're happy living there. You're happy having that preservation looked after you, like the Tinder swindlers out there and the con men that have got safe havens there. Like, you can't have your cake and you eat it. Like me, I admit that England has done some horrific things. Jews are not like that. Israelis are not like that. What do you mean? Israel's the best country in the world? No, it's not. Yes, no, it's fucking not. No, it's fucking not. Right? Own what you are. If this is to me, what's England? There's loads of things in England that are not right. Loads. I'm not going to pretend that we live in a great state, but in Israel, everyone's pretending that no, it's hunky dory and what we're doing is the right thing. Like demolishing people's homes and they're living there and they go, well, yeah, that's nothing to do with it. Oh, fuck off, bro. Fuck off, man.
So can I just ask Hasan, if there were more people to speak up from Jewish people from the country of Israel to speak up against the discrepancies of the Israeli state, would you then be a little bit more happy in more accepting different views from Jewish people?
I've got no problems with that. Manny, I'll say this. Me hating on Israel and Jews is going to matter this much in life. This much. And I know it means nothing. I don't hate on them. My thing is that what you are is what you are. Stop pretending that you're this, whatever the fuck it is. Like, Josie comes on and it's like, we're not a superior race. And then when you tell them, well, so what's a Goya? What? Like, you, if you don't see people like that and you've got words to that effect, then be honest about it. Don't come out with a fucking airy-fairy excuse or, no, that's not what we meant. Like, when the Muslims do it, we've got no problem sticking it on them and going, yo, what the fuck is a kuffar? Well, why is there a problem with that? But when you do it, it's, oh, well, you're anti-Semite. What? Like, when you got an Israeli rape gang being mentioned, you're anti-Semite. Oh, fuck off, bro. Like, this is just deflection. And no offense, you guys have been the masters of this for years. You've been put in positions of power for years. For years. The media is owned by you guys. The banking is owned by you guys. What's left? What is left that don't need to be in place for you lot to have what you lot want all the time? And again, I would understand if these people were intellectually superior. They're not. They're not.
Well, do you differentiate between Zionist
Because no,
and Jewish?
no,
Why
I
not?
don't.
Why not?
Because I don't classify. Like, if you were to seriously go Hass now, genuinely, like, forget all this bullshit. Like, what do you classify yourself? Classify some person living in England, not a Turkish man living in England, or a Jew living in England. No, but it's not like that. It's not like that, and I can understand why it's not like that. If you've had a group of people being persecuted, and you've had to somewhat lie to yourselves to be manipulated to unite and go for that marketing bullshit that the whole world is against you, and no, you're just against the whole world, and the whole world just sometimes gets enough of you and tells you not to fuck off. Like that's what it is. That's what it is.
And do you believe that Jewish people were killed in the numbers that they state in
Definitely not.
during World War
Definitely
II?
not. Definitely not. What, 6 million people? Can you imagine the logistics of getting rid of 6 million people? Like, just think about it. Like gas chambers that needs it. Where's the bodies going? Where's these bodies going? And according to the Germans, they were supposed to be really highly efficient people. Like, where are the bodies? Where's the bones? Where are they? Where? And it's not like as if it's not a rerun or what. They were given a year to leave the fucking country. A year to leave the country. Like the same year that Ukraine was given to leave Ukraine, and they kept staying there until 13 years later, until Putin came down, and even then they got the excursion out. Now these people, that they stay there because they feel they're entitled to. And well, if you're entitled to, well, you're entitled to die as well. Tough shit.
No,
Well, 6 million is my balls.
So 2 points
My
I
balls.
want to raise here. The first point is I'm personally, I'm not a Holocaust denier. I'm not saying that you are either. I'm just saying that I'm not a Holocaust denier. However, it was a Jewish YouTuber. I don't remember his name. It's been a number of years since I watched his
Corey
documentary.
Hughes, watch his documentary, and it seriously highlights what it means. Like, just look at what 6 million people look like, okay, and then imagine them going through gas chambers and getting killed. Just look at what 6 million people look like, right? Just on a scale of what it looks like, and you're going to kill them people with soldiers that are currently going to war, fighting enemies, going into other countries, and then having time to kill you guys as well. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off.
So,
Fuck off.
as I
I
was
don't
saying,
care. I'm a Holocaust denier. I don't care. I am. I really am anyway. To be honest with you, it's all the marketing that they need to go into what and gain what country after that war. What did they gain? Was it a place called Israel that just suddenly appeared on the fucking map with
So,
a 1,800-year-old contract? So fuck off, man. Fuck off.
So as I was saying, and further to my previous points, that it was an actual Jewish YouTuber that created a documentary that I came across, and he gave the information that the way the Holocaust is described to us as a event of history couldn't have taken place because of the various logistics, including how the rooms were, how the doors were, and all these other facts and information that kind of made sense, and he had that verified, and he presented that information. So that it is more investigation. Obviously, there's laws in countries like Germany where you cannot question the Holocaust, and you have to agree with it. So when governments and organizations pass laws against free speech about a certain event, that's definitely a red flag for me. But again, I'm not a Holocaust denier. I'm just saying that there are some red flags surrounding that type of that type of research. All right, so let's move forward.
We had the Armenians, bro. I'll say this: in Turkey, we had the Armenians. Like, according to them, we did this, we did this, we did that, we did this. It was fucking war, bro. Like, you had the opportunity to leave that place. You chose to stay, and then you want to bitch about what happened to you. Fuck off.
Can Can I just have a response to that? I've read a fair few autobiographies of families and individuals that were in that state, and because I always had that question: why did a lot of these Jewish people not leave and save themselves? Because obviously, as a human being, watching another human being suffer is it kind of is in a mild way traumatizing if it's a historical event. But I did collect from the various information that I came across that people just kept thinking that things would get better, that the worst was behind them, and there was something around the corner. Now, if you overlap that type of thinking with psychology, with psychiatry, that does kind of make sense. I mean, look at look at what's been happening in war-torn countries. You would have thought, for example, after the first invasion in Iraq, the Iraqis would have left Iraq, entirely by the time the second war came around, but they were still there in their masses. So it's not just the Jewish people that decided to stay. Of course, many Jewish did leave, came to the UK and other American and other parts of the world. So it's not that they all stayed and decided to cry wolf or anything, Hasan.
Again, like if you're told that there's a war beginning with your people, remember them words. He's not going against like a nation. He's just telling you. Like recently, I'll give you an example. Recently, Turkey told the Jews to fuck off out the nation. That's what they did. Now, if you're there, like, and you're gonna get like conflict, who are you kidding here? Like, why are you pretending that there's gonna be this issue that people are going to give a fuck about? But yeah, with the Holocaust we do. Oh, the poor Jews. What, the poor fucking idiots that decided to be stubborn enough to stay in the nation when told to leave. When told to leave, and then we're going to worry about what happened to them. What you mean they died in horrific conditions? Okay.
I just look.
What were you expecting to happen? What were you expecting to happen?
I want to change the subject. I want to move on to other topics here, but and I don't want a response from you with this, but I just want you to understand that sometimes when you're ranting and you're honing in on Jewish people from a neutral perspective, it kind of puts my back up, because I don't want. All right,
I'll say this: if the Turks, all right, I'll say this: if the Cypriots went into Turkey and told them to get the fuck out, and they went, no, you know what, we're not gonna, and we're gonna stay and fight, and they died, I still wouldn't give a shit. All right, I'll say this in this way so you might understand. If England told me to leave and I stayed and I died, I wouldn't expect anyone to give a shit. They told you to leave, bro. Just this bit people need to understand. And nations ask you to fuck off. You stayed. Why? Why did you stay? Because of what? No, because you're earning your money and you were getting away with what you were getting away with, and you thought that's how it's gonna be when Hitler put his plan to action. Tough shit. Tough shit.
But don't you think you're being needlessly cold here?
Not bro. It's fucking. What? Wait, hold on. So what? Wait. So what would you? All right, let's get this right. Let's use your dilemma. India and Pakistan had one country once upon a time, alongside with the Bangladeshi. All Indians, Pakistanis were all living together. India, Pakistani, and Bangladeshis were all living together, and then they were not getting to live together. And India gave a country to Pakistan and India to a country to Bangladesh. Okay, and now you still got Pakistanis in India giving you and Bangladeshis giving you problems. What do you do with it? I'll tell you what I would do with them. Kill them. I'll send the secret police out there and just say, bro, you got an opportunity. You either fuck off back to Pakistan or Bangladesh, where you're championing your cause causes,
Listen,
well, what you do
listen,
is you
listen,
die.
listen, dude. You can't just go around killing people because they have a different viewpoint or ideology to you. There's laws
You
in place.
do
There's
if they've
constitutions
got
that if they
right.
break those laws, if they go over and beyond what they should be doing and breaking the peace, then you put them behind bars. You take them to court. What do you mean? You just
All right.
automatically
So
take it from
what you
0 to
mean? There's
10,000
same laws.
and say you
So
kill them?
zero laws that they impose on themselves, but make sure that you get imposed. Like for example, you can't be a combatant for another country unless you're an Israeli. Like what them kind of laws, like the standard laws that people expect, that everyone's happy and long to live with that. So the whole idea of you've got your nation, you're in my nation, you're causing trouble in my nation, and I've not got a right to put a piece of lead in your head for that. Of course you have. Of course you have. You go to Israel, they're happy enough to do that there. You go to America, go walk onto someone's land, and when they tell you to leave, and then you don't leave, and the guy puts a bit of lead in your head, why is that such a foreign concept to you? Why is it? Manny,
Yeah, yeah, I'm listening, dude. I was just there's
why
somebody
is it
in
a foreign concept?
what to killing people.
No, not just for killing people. What I'm saying is, I gave you the specific examples of you've given a country to Pakistan and you've given a country to Bangladesh, but you still got Pakistanis and Bangladeshis in your India fucking your country up. Yeah, kill them. You've got a country
No,
to go to. Fuck off there.
no,
Fuck
you
off
don't
there.
just kill them.
If they're
No, you
giving
don't
you
just kill them.
trouble, if they're giving you trouble, that's what you do.
You
And that's
don't
what
just.
and we've had to stop doing this. Like we've had to stop telling nations to stop coming in. But Turkey's got no problems telling the Jews to fuck off, and it did just not so long ago. Within a month, they've told the Jews get the fuck out, bro. Get the fuck out.
We've been joined by Banksy. Banksy, do you agree
Pick up.
with Hassan that if
Yeah,
foreign
Banksy.
countrymen are interfering with your politics, your local politics, you just round them up and kill them?
Well, history says that a lot of people did that. Oh, but by the way, the Jews were not the only one at the shitty end of that stick. If you look at
Russians.
Idi Amin
Mm.
in Uganda, that's what he did to the Indians, the people from the Indian subcontinent, because they were extremely successful. They had a lot of businesses. They were very powerful. They were making a lot of money, and he felt that this group was effectively stealing from their people, from his people, because it was
And they
happened to be
were.
successful. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know whether that is the case, because if you provide an environment where someone can fairly compete for goods and services, and that person happens to be successful, is it now their fault that they were successful at the rules you set?
Hold on. That would be the case if the rules were what you would call fair. Like, for example, like two guys go into the bank and one has the better idea, but one's Jewish and the one with the Jewish background comes
But
out
no,
with the
but you see,
loan.
you're focusing
But
on the
that's
Jews.
what again,
No, but the Indians
again,
did the same sort of
that
thing in Uganda.
again, again. It's
Were Indians
who
controlling the banking system in Uganda?
no, the Indians. If the Indians are paying up on time, and being a good agent for them, why not? It's
Well, yeah,
like the
but the fact
Chinese.
is, no, but that's the thing.
Again,
Exactly that
it's
happened.
again, it works for that same
But
cult.
but Hassan, what you're
Like
ruling
it's
out?
irrelevant.
No, what you're rooting out here is the sense of jealousy of the successful person. You see, in America, for example, the Jews were always persecuted. You know, the Jews did try to flee, by the way, Germany. A lot of them, there were boats that were turned back from America. A boat full of Jews arrived and they sent them back to Europe. The Jews were not just, free to go anywhere they wanted either. This is a misconception that, oh, they could just go anywhere. No, there were a lot of countries that wouldn't allow them.
Planned.
Britain didn't even allow them for a long time. So this is the thing. They were not just allowed to just wander wherever they wanted. A lot of countries wouldn't let them in. So that's
I'll
number
be
one.
honest with you. Again, and that goes back to their adaptation and another deceptive role on it. The atheists, they're Christian. Like it's all deceit and lies. And
Well, I'm just trying to.
eventually people get sick of it. That's all it is. Me, again, no hate. Like, I'm not going to go out and hurt a Jew or like, but when it comes to calling them out, yeah, bro, if that's what you could do, then do that.
But the thing
Then
is,
do
Hassan,
that.
the only thing I want you to sort of come to some kind of realization is that wherever a group of people, a small minority, become highly successful, and this happened again, as I say, I used the Ugandan example. The people, the unsuccessful people who are native to that land, tend to get very jealous and very resentful of that group. And this has happened not just to Jews, to many other minority groups around the world where the dictator is, or whoever was the king or dictator, has either expelled them or slaughtered them.
Promote
So
them. Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Jews, look, you're right. The Jews have unfair or sort of unfair level of
100%.
representation in the media. They own a tremendous amount of the Hollywood and the media industry. They have a tremendous amount of power and influence in the banking system. For their size,
Politics.
for the number of people that they are in the world, yes, but also on the same level, they have far more Nobel Prize winners than any other group in the world. Now you can say that
Again,
the Nobel is
I wish
fixed.
Nobel. I wish Nobel was actually something that is a worthy championship to be touted. Who's won the Nobel? Let's go through the last 10
Well,
people that won the Nobel.
we're talking
Was
about science.
Obama a bit?
No,
Was
no, no. That's the
Obama
Nobel
on that?
Peace. No, that's the Nobel
Yeah,
Peace
but
Prize. That's just the
again,
arbitrary bollocks that they just give out. We're talking
so I
science. We're
mean,
talking physics. We're talking, Einstein with the relativity. We're talking. These are the kind of levels that the Jewish community has been represented in
but again, though,
these
Banksy, like if
the world.
you're put in a position where you're allowed to gain access to it, you're gonna get Jewish names.
Yeah,
Like,
but
see, this is it. No, no, no,
bit of a
no, no,
you're kind
no,
of doing a chicken and an egg thing.
no, no,
They
no, no,
wouldn't. They
no.
would
It's
not be
not. What you
successful
do
if.
is if you no wait, if you put everyone, look, this is how you would measure intelligence. You put everyone on equal footing, and then you find out. And guess what? You're not gonna find out it's a bunch of inbred, ginger-looking fucking carrot tops.
Well,
Because you can't.
Jews.
You're on an unfair advantage already because you're inbreeding. And
Okay,
yet
okay.
we're expected to think, yeah, you know what? Inbreeding people, inbreds are meant to be more smart. I mean, just hear how marketed you have become. And I'm
It's.
not afraid to say it. At least say it. You can't do
I
nothing. You can't
agree
go
with
out
you.
and be inbred. But again, so how the fuck are these? No, no, you're just giving the opportunities. You're giving the resources. You're giving the pathway clear. But no, you give anyone that, they're gonna. You can get a fucking monkey to be
Well,
successful that
the
way,
thing
bro.
is, if you actually look at the IQ, I tried to point that out to Manny earlier. If you're looking at IQ points, the Asians, the Southeast Asians, the Chinese,
Thank
Japanese,
you.
Koreans, they outdo the Jews by a mile. So
And
when it
how
comes to
many of them are
IQ,
running banks
well,
or
I mean,
or
again,
the
again,
media?
the thing is, it's their
Again,
culture as well. Yeah, because you got.
marketed
No, but
right.
yeah, but you got to realize after the Second World War, there wasn't a massive influx of Chinese to the United States, but that influx of Jews did go because they literally were thrown out of Germany, so they were lost. They needed a place, and they ended up
And why were
migrating to
1 minute?
Europe,
Why were they
to
thrown out?
Britain and
I love this
America.
bit where why they were thrown out, and then the other parts where they're being thrown out. Again, it's because they will go in there, steal, rob, abuse. But bro, why are we touting for these people? Oh, but they're not all bad. So
The
fucking
thing
what?
is, my
So
issue.
fucking what if they're not all bad? Like I heard War
Well,
Kettle yesterday, and he's pussy fucking whimsical thing. Oh, I got married to a Turk within 3 weeks. I hope she fucking gets the passport and dumps his ass. Like he throughout his whole fucking time, all I've heard is
the
him
thing is,
hating and bigging up Israel. For what?
well, no, he is a
You're,
he is a
you're a
he's an
bunch of
advocate for
baby
Israel.
murdering fucking pricks, man. Like, what's to big up about your country, man?
Well, he's not
What's
he's
to
not
big up about?
Israeli. He's not Israeli. He's English,
He's,
but
bro,
he
he's an
likes Israel.
Israeli
He's a
supporter.
pro
Uh,
Israel. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Bro, you tell me he's not Israeli. I'm gonna say he is, bro. But from
As
nowhere, he's
as
gone,
far as I
you
know.
know what? I'm going to support something that's not fuck all to do. My
Well, there
bollock.
are people,
This is what I mean.
dude.
This
Oh, come
innate
on, dude.
ability to even recognize them as
But
because then they've got
Hassan,
that. Well, I'm not Israeli. That's bullshit, bro.
Hassan, be fair,
Bullshit,
be
bro.
fair. There are a bunch of Pakistanis jumping up and down screaming "Free Palestine." So if you're telling me that people can't support a nation that they have nothing to do with, why are there Pakistanis jumping up and down in central London in front of the Israeli embassy screaming "Free
Because they want
Palestine"?
a
What
bit
the
of
fuck
airtime,
does a
bro.
Pakistan? No, no,
Because they
exactly.
want a bit of airtime.
So maybe people who support Israel have that sort of
Well,
sense as well.
what's he supporting in Israel?
Well, he's supporting the state of Israel. Let's say. Let's just say
It's
blanket,
not me.
just like a Pakistani who can support the state of Palestine, who he has
Uh-oh.
nothing in common with. I mean, let's put it this way: I can say that an Englishman might have some things more in common with an Israeli than a Pakistani with a Palestinian. Pakistanis and
You're gonna
Palestinians
find
don't even
idiots.
share the
You're gonna
same
find
food.
You're gonna find idiots no matter where you go in that sense, bro. In regards to that argument, my thing is that there's hundreds of people that support like this nation that really does nothing for them, absolutely nothing about their demand, absolutely nothing. And
But lots
and
of
bro,
people
again,
support
I
states that
don't
do nothing
hate
for them.
on them. Like hating is not gonna do fuck all, bro. Like fuck all. What people need to do is just say it for what it fucking is. I support Israel. What do you support of Israel, bro? What do you support of Israel?
I don't.
Fucking you.
There's one thing I
You.
wanted to also mention that you were spot on the money on that one. They call Muslim grooming gangs Muslim grooming gangs, and they go all out for them, and they go for them all the time. But nobody calls out Jewish grooming gangs when they talk about Epstein. Nobody talks
Nah.
about Jewish grooming gangs when they talk about those guys.
Or the
They never bring up
connection
Jewish grooming,
between
and they say
Ukraine
Epstein or Weinstein or this or that, but they never say Jewish grooming gangs. That term hasn't
or
even
Maxwell
ever emerged.
or
Well,
Maxwell
yeah, exactly.
connection,
Maxwell. But
Mossad,
what I mean is
the Mossad
all of
connection.
them.
No more. Again, but you can't. But again, why can't we? Well, like it's known. The BBC even. I sent a little WhatsApp on Manny's thing. The BBC even fucking declares it, bro. Ghislaine and Epstein, Mossad agent. Oh yeah,
Seriously.
we can't hate on we can't hate on fucking Israel. We can't hate on Jews, bro. We just had an international rape fest going on here on behalf of Israel. Literally on
So,
behalf of Israel. Yeah, we can't hate on this. Like,
but you
bro,
know,
fucking suck a dick, man.
Sorry,
but
Manny,
Suck a
I
the
dick.
took
problem
over.
is, the problem is, Hassan, you're continuously blaming the Jewish people for the crimes of the
Well, who
Israeli.
are they? They're not fucking Africans, are they?
Yeah, but the problem is that just like we don't have much control of what our corrupt politicians do, or the Americans in Congress and the Canadian people in their parliament, you know,
Have
the
we
Jewish
got the
people don't,
media?
the
Have we
Jewish
got
people don't have
the
much control of
law?
what their corrupt politicians do.
No. Again, because we got their media, we got their law system, we got their police trained officers,
But
all
let,
looking out for them.
but
And guess what?
why is that? But why are you regarding that as such a negative? Take the Bollywood industry, for example. The Bollywood industry wouldn't even
Another
exist
shit industry.
if Jewish people hadn't arrived in what was then called Bombay and set it up. It was a very different world in India. So seems to be
And I'm
especially
gonna thank him for that. You want me to
right.
thank him for
And
Bollywood?
no,
Fucking
no.
the
But
bane of fucking
my
society.
point is this. No,
Thanks,
no. Let me
Jews.
finish my
Another
point.
thing that I
Let me
can
finish
hate
my
you for.
point. Let me finish my point. I'm not disputing anything that you're saying, Hassan. If you listen to it,
I
I'm
know, I
allowing
know,
you to
I know.
speak. But my point is, you have to be fair. If you have to look at the Muslim community, they are a very tight knit community. The Gujarati community, which is a community within the Indian community, they're just as tight knit as the Muslim and the Jewish community. There are some communities that are just like that. Even the traveller community for in the UK
Bro, I've got
and
no
in
problem
Ireland,
with
very
tight
close knit.
knitness.
This is how communities work. I mean, my parents are from a community that are not so close knit. Everyone wants to be an individual. They don't work well together. So that's just how some communities are, and you're really kind of just holding that against them. I mean, if you were a member of a community that was very successful
I
as
come from
well,
a
I
very
mean,
successful, tight knitted community as well, Manny. I don't want to sound
right, of
horrible, but
course you are.
I'm not gonna toot their shit, bro. It's because you know what? I know the kind of stuff that goes on there to make that tight knit community, and it's not something to big it up. It's not a lot of keep secret, a lot of don't watch your brother's shame, don't shout out what's wrong, and then we wonder when we come down here, everyone looks at us like barbarians. Ah, you're a fucking idiot, bro. Shout out.
My issue with you is not.
Not you, Manny. I'm not. What I'm saying, I'm not directing insults at you here. I'm saying, well, you're the idiot. Like the person, the idiot that's not shouting it out. Like if I come from a community that, guess what, marital rape is a regular thing, and I come into a community and like people are looking at me and going, "Oh, bro, like I didn't know you guys were a bit like that." I'm like, yeah. Or I could be like, no, bro. You know what? I'm dumping my wife. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna be involved with women because you know what? I've got this stigma that is seriously connected to it. You make that distant. They're not. No one is. Everyone's going, oh, well, I don't agree with what Israel's doing. But then come Israel Day, everyone's got their fucking flags in their hand. But what is
Okay,
it?
look,
Are you or are you not?
look. We've only got 10 minutes left. I want to switch it off. There's other subjects that I wanted to talk about. So let's go forward with that. So Hasan, you know, obviously we know you are an ex-Muslim. But from what I've seen from you, you seem to have a lot of anger towards the Islamic and the religion. And you tend to be overly aggressive when you're speaking to Muslims. Correct me if that's not wrong. So is this
No,
just
you're
like
right.
part of your character where you're just continuously venting, or is it just another special exception you make with that Muslim community?
Again, it goes back to calling out bullshit. Like it's, oh, where not all Muslims are the same. Yes, they are. That's the reason why they're Muslims. So I don't get like they've got that thought process that they've accepted. You understand me? That they want to be believers. How are we saying that they're not? And when we say they're not, we know that they've got flaws. Like I know that they've got flaws. Like Islam has got some major flaws. Again, keeping your brother's sin out of people's ears, and don't judge others, and let things slide. And what we mean is this. Yeah, there's a lot of that in Islam. And again, like you're either a part of the problem or what you want to do is sort that problem. So my approach is be loud and proud about it, tell them where they're going wrong and call them out, add insult to it if need be. Do you understand me? And I took this from Richard Dawkins. He said it really beautiful. You need sometimes people to say very eloquently and very beautifully for some people to understand, and sometimes you need the caveman to just shout out, "You're an idiot." I'm happy to be the caveman shouting out, "You're the idiot." I really am, because we've got loads of intelligent people in this world that explain it beautifully, like to the point where you just stand in awe and go, like Ryan Dawson when he talked and Corey Hughes talk. I just sit there and I listen because what they say makes sense. And I think you need people like me that are just gonna shout it out, get the
But
attention
you
for
yourself was a devoted follower of Islam. What
until
we
I left my mum's house. Yeah, because that's the rules that we need to play at in her house. Like you couldn't bring in some bacon rashers and cook in my mum's house. You just couldn't. You just couldn't. I could after I left it. After I left the house, and my mum was gone on a 2-week holiday. And she goes, "Oh, do me a favour, look after the house." Yeah, fuck it, I cooked some bacon rashes then. But when I was with her in her house, her rules, no, that was her house, her rules, and she wanted you to be a Muslim. That's it, and you're a kid, and that's what you were going to be.
So
Simple as.
were you scared to tell her that you were no longer a Muslim while you're living under her roof?
No. My mum suspected that I was straying from it because I remember telling the audience one. I remember my mum telling me the story of how Muhammad and the unicorn went down, and how Muhammad was struggling so much to find a place for this unicorn to be tethered to. And I'll never forget, I went to my teacher and I said, "Sir," I went, "is this true that you can go to space, split the moon, come back down and have issues finding a..." And my teacher was pissing himself with laughter. He was like, "What? What? Split the moon? Do you know what would happen if fucking you left the, planet's orbit without a spacesuit and all the rest of it? You wouldn't live and do it." So, and I went back and I told my mum, and from there she kept on trying to reinforce more stories in me. So what I did was I kept going to my teacher and saying, "Oh, my mum said this," and my teacher would laugh and then send me back home. And then before you know it, it was my mum would stop talking about religion, and I got my opportunity to leave the house, and that's what I did.
A lot
And I left early.
A lot of philosophers state that your parents are representative of the government. So if that is the case in your story, then just imagine somebody was penalizing you for being a Muslim, even though you weren't quite sold on it. How is that any different to how you're penalizing Jewish people for living in Israel?
Again, because they're choosing to live in Israel.
But you chose to live at home as well.
No, I had no option. I had to live there. I had to live there. You're talking about involuntary slavery.
Think that they
You're
have to
talking
live
about
in the country that they do live in as well.
No, they don't. No one has to live there. No one. I don't think there's a country in the world that if you've got an Israeli passport, they wouldn't accept you. There's maybe a few. I wouldn't go to Lebanon with it, or
Saudi
Russia with it.
Arabia wouldn't accept you up until
yeah,
only
or Saudi.
up until 20. I think it was 2013 when I was going to go to Dubai, and then we were going to stop off in Saudi Arabia for a few hours, and I thought maybe we could get a visa and just check out Riyadh, but no, you needed a whole bunch of visas for it. But in the visa application segment of the website, literally says you would not be granted a visa if you are an Israeli citizen or have an Israeli passport. So that was then. Admittedly, now things have changed. Saudi Arabia, Emirate nations, they're all very good friends with Israel now. Jews from Israel literally fly to Dubai now. But back then, no, it was totally banned.
You can go anywhere. Like, why do you need to live in a place? And like, especially if you're like me, like this place is borderline habitable for me. Like, if it goes any more, I'm like, fuck this, bro. I'll fuck off to Portugal, man. Like, fuck, I don't give a shit. I will vote with my feet. My dad did that. Like, he didn't like Turkey, and he fucking came here. Well, you can't do that.
Not everybody can always do that. Dude.
Oh, suck a dick. It's not that you make it sound like these people are living in fucking shit huts, man. They're living in like multi-million-pound bits.
I'm talking about
again. But my thing is, I've got a more pressing question: is why did you move to Israel? Out of that, because they've got, like, according to Israel's tax laws, it's not a very welcoming country. It's not something that rewards you for living there.
No, if you're a Jew and you can prove that you're Jewish, they will actually provide you with several tens of thousands of pounds as well as a property to actually.
And how much is that property there? They give you tens of thousands. What's the property there?
Oh no, they'll give you like I forgot how many tens of thousands. I think in Iran they were offering like $10,000 to $15,000 per Jew, and they will provide you with a property as well, they will give you the property to live in. Now, I don't know whether that property is going to be in the West Bank or in Gaza, because at the time when I heard about this, they still occupied Gaza. So that was in the time when Israel still occupied Gaza and actually were giving houses in Gaza to Israelis.
I remember speaking to a Jewish guy that lived in Israel, and I heard nothing but bitching from him. I heard that the taxes are fucking phenomenal. The work conditions are hard. It's nothing's easy there, from my understanding. And then they've got the terrorist issues to deal with as well. Right. And
Yeah,
and
now so
then they've
now
got
it's stabbing.
the government are coming down and jabbing them up like, no, you ain't got a choice. You're gonna take this fucking injection, or guess what? Right. Again,
The thing
like,
is, you got to
and
come
these are
from
the
an
people that are
Israeli.
voluntarily living there. Like,
I think you have
and
to
when
come
you
from an
find,
Israeli perspective or a Jewish perspective who's been persecuted in other parts of the world.
I don't know,
Jews
man. I see
literally
the people who
don't
live
have.
there. They look like murderers, man. Like
But the thing is,
when one Palestinian kid comes into an Israeli neighborhood, I kid you not, man. I look at them and I just think, man, you guys all look like a bunch of murderers, man. The kid's trying to ride a bike there, and you're looking at him like as if he's just fucked your mum, man.
I
I
agree with you.
don't
I
get.
agree with you. There are some horrific things. I've seen videos. This is back in like 2003, 2004. So a lot of these pro-Palestinian idiots who are running around like 20-year-olds who are running around screaming free Palestine, they haven't got a fucking clue about what's going on over there or the history or the how this is, how this this situation has unfolded over the years. But I
Okay,
remember
I'm just
watching kids getting shot, literally a child who was an American who was visiting his cousin in Israel, got shot by an IDF soldier, and I forgot whether it severed his spine or whatever. The kid just dropped. It was on video. Back then, you could get that kind of shit
Yeah.
on YouTube. Now you couldn't even find it. But back then, you literally saw it. And the guys, they saw them. These were kids. These were the Israeli soldiers weren't making a mistake. They shot that kid on purpose. There was no error or mistake or any like, oh, we didn't know what the fuck was going on. These two boys were just walking towards the camera, and one of them just dropped.
There
all
you
right.
go.
So I just want to take the conversation back to Hassan. Hassan, one of the things that I've noticed over the last few weeks, you have this distinct anger towards two of my online friends. I know many people are not very keen on them, and some of us are okay with them, and we're happy with them. But you obviously have a massive distasteful, how can we say, treasure of goodies that you hold for Wendy and Jupiter. And I
Again,
would say that some of the comments that you make against them, to them, sorry, is very OTT. Would you like to apologize to them for saying very personal comments to them?
not at all. In fact, like, again, that I just call it out for what it is, man. Like, if you said to me, like, if you put Wendy or Jupiter in front of me now, they'd be safe as fuck. I think that what that I'm gonna hit him, or I'm just like, my thing is when people call out, like, for example, Wendy's most beautiful one. I'm not a loyalist and I don't support the army when it's not appropriate for her. But later on, you find that she does. And another one that supports Israel. Again, lying. I'm not Israeli. Yeah, you fucking are. You fucking are. Like, stop lying, man. Like, stop lying.
But why do you when okay, fine, attack their politics, attack what they're saying in terms of their views. Why do you make it so personal where you start attacking
Because she's
family
got
members and saying all these
ugly,
horrible things?
unattractive features on her that I really love homing in on and know that it's going to get to them. Like, for
But is
example,
that is that the right way? Is that the right
Jupiter's,
way to debate?
like, for example, Jupiter's upload of that video of hers, okay, the one where I feel like gouging my eyes out with ice pick, you understand me? Watching that, whatever the fuck it is, rolling around there, trying to look sexy as whatever shit, you understand me? Like polished turd. Yeah, like that you did that. Like, my opinion is going to be that, and I'm going to share my opinion with you on that. And the fact that you're an out and outright racist, like, doesn't change the fact that you like one black person. It really doesn't. Like, I could like you and hate every other Indian. Does that make me racist? Yes. 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 That's what it makes you. You just happen
But
to like Manny,
it also
who's
makes it
Indian.
possible that Hasan is not. There's hope in Hasan that he won't always hate all Indians. See, you're looking at it in a very negative way.
I
Where if
guess.
you like me, and why would you not like me? I'm a cool guy. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, fine. If he can get on with me, he'll get on with many other people.
Yeah, but if everyone could be like you, is my answer to that.
No one can be like me,
Because
Hasan.
yeah, exactly. So this is what it comes down to. Like as I said, like I, I had a wicked chef, Jewish. I've got people that I went down to Speaker's Corner that are Jewish, that are Muslims, that are Christian. My problem ain't with that per se. It's what like it's the same one with the Muslim. Oh, we're not all grooming gangs. No, you're not. But you all are into keeping your brother's secrets silent. So you're into more worse things than being into grooming gangs. Like in a weird, twisted way, I wish you were, because at least we'd then like you're into like just keeping things secret, just for your brother. That makes it a lot
You're
worse.
not into the grooming gang, but you protect all the groomers
Yeah,
by your silence,
yeah,
or you're generally you
yeah.
won't contribute to try
That
to
makes it
find out.
worse, no?
I mean, it's not necessarily
That-
worse, but it's certainly as bad.
I think it
Um,
is. I'll be honest
I
with you. I
mean,
think you know what. At least we could deal with that. How are we going to deal with you just wanting to keep everything secret?
this is how Sam Harris actually described it in his book as well. Was it The End of Faith? He said the problem with jihadis isn't that the jihadis themselves want to blow everyone up or kill everyone, but in fact, the moderate Muslim creates a shield for the jihadis to hide behind, because as soon as a jihadi wants to blow and kill someone, the moderate Muslim steps in front and goes, no, no, but look at me, I'm not like that, I'm perfectly good. Yeah, but that's fine, but I don't need you in here, in the middle here right now. I need to get to that guy, and you're the one who's actually creating a barrier between me and the jihadi who wants to
And
blow
the
everyone up.
Jews. And the
Well,
Jews.
but in your case, you can say, yeah, the Jews or whoever it is. But there are, see, the problem is in the real world, the world is much more nuanced and complicated than that. Like you just called Jupiter a racist, and
I
yet
don't. Oh,
she's
bro, on my mother's life. This is another thing that Banksy. This complicated. No, it's not, bro. You know, it's been made to be so complicated. They've divided us so much. You know what? There's those that want to be with you and those that don't want to be with you. That's
yeah,
it.
but has
That's
right now you
it.
called Jupiter a racist, and that's a blanket statement, even though you know she's got mixed race children and she's married to a Nigerian. And you say, well, it's
Again,
because she
she
just
likes
likes that
that
one guy,
Nigerian.
but she's still
That's
racist.
it.
But being a racist means you hate all black people, not
Or
just
most of
one.
them. Or most
No,
of
no,
them.
it's not most of
Yeah.
them. It's
Yeah,
all
or
of them. You
most of
have a
them. Like,
disdain
I'll be honest
for
with you.
black
Right,
people or
I'll
brown
give you an
people,
example.
whoever it is.
I hate a lot of Turks. A lot. I've got a lot of disdain for a lot. That still makes me racist to Turks, bro.
No, it's not. You're
There's,
not
there's a group
racist to
of people
Turks.
that
You
I
are a
don't like.
Turk.
Bro, like, I know their mindset. Like when you like, there's lots of Turkish behaviours that I'm not. Like again, like this is where you
Exactly.
got to separate yourself. Like you're not a Turk. Man. Stop pretending you're a Turk. You're not a Turk, bro. You live in England, man. You got kids in England. You lived here for what, 47 plus years? What part of you is Turkish, bro? Stop pretending,
Yeah,
man. Like
but
this
you
fucking
can't. No, no,
delusion world.
it's not
My
pretending.
family
You're
is. My
culturally,
family
you're
is.
yeah. You may be culturally British, but genetically, you will always be a Turk. That's your
I'm not.
blood.
I'm not
That's
gonna
your.
say I'm
That's in
British.
your DNA.
I don't stop having people having a mangina attack on the chat boards. I'm not saying I'm English, but I'm British. That's
Yeah,
what it makes me.
but has your
That's it.
DNA, your bones to your. It's as
Yes,
the lady
yes, yes.
in the Matrix said, from your balls to your bones, you will always
Yeah,
be Turkish. I will always be
yeah.
Iranian. I will never be able to pretend to be anything else than what I am. It is in
My
my
kids
core.
in
Now I
third
am
generation is
culturally
gonna be.
British. Your
Yeah.
kids are gonna be half Turk or whatever mix
Mm.
combination of that there may be. but
They're
there will always
Turkish as
be
well.
that combination. Well, if the mother's Turkish, then yeah, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And yes, I can point out, and I'm sure Sam, who's in the chat as well, can point out a million Iranians who are fucking assholes, who are unbelievably and insufferably dipshits.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean I hate Iranians. I'm racist towards Iranians. I just know there is a vast majority or a vast number of them who are just dicks. But people are
yeah,
dicks everywhere. That's just
yeah.
the name of the game.
Again, it's not. And there's another thing as well. There's that reward that has been given for people to be like this. Like before, they'd be beheaded. I spoke to Manny and we covered it a little bit, and he was like, "Oh, what, you kill him? Yeah, that's what would have happened back then anyway. Like, why are you so surprised? What, you think cunts just roam the world and nothing happened to them back then? Man, I tell you what would have happened. They would have gone into a village where there was women out there that just got what they had to do, bro, and they would have cut your throat, robbed your money, put you in the garden for great comfort.
Yeah, but look,
Bye.
everyone can be barbaric. Everybody can be evil. But the thing is, you have
For
to
the right
have
reason.
that mentality.
For the right reason.
Because if you don't control it, then it starts controlling you. But look, we're running out of time. I've got two more topics to cover. So the younger you, Hasan, people don't know this. You were a bit of a high flyer. I remember you telling me.
Yeah.
You used to work all hours of the day, drive flashy cars. A bit of a yuppie. Tell us about that, mate.
Really kind of shameful days. We were doing some very illegal activities, which gained us control to a lot of money, and through that we got a lot of places that we ended up going, raves, clubs, and other connections where you got to meet other people in these places. So, and when people are on drugs, guess what they love doing? Talk. And if you've got a little bit of a nefarious character, you somewhat learn to exploit that. So we did that, and we got, don't know if the word reward is usable here, but we got some of the benefits from that, which again, I don't know if you can even call them benefits because they're detrimental to you as a human being. And yeah, but if you were to say to me that are there times that I relish now, I'm like, are you proud of them? No, there were times when you were young and that helped. That is, if you were to say to me now, you got to find me a positive, something to say about it. That everything else, no, like absolute no. Like you make enemies, especially when you're doing crack, which I was doing. You get hard really quick, like really quick on that, and that it changes a lot of things. And I still stand by drugs be legal, and we should have rehab clinics that have trained physicians that know how to deal with addiction in general and can help these people make better choices and be more productive members of society. But I think it's much better out in the open than having this underworld that feeds off children's suffering and misery for benefits of their own. You understand me? I'm not a believer of that. I much believe that it should be out in the open. But yeah, getting back to it, yeah, I did some disgusting things. I'm not going to talk too much about this side, but our surrounding, like our immediate surrounding contact, they all had the same kind of traits as each other. They're a bit fearless, bit willing to take the risk, bit cold as well. We found out later, we lost a few on the way, from overdoses and, challenging people that they shouldn't have, and some even going after when they've somewhat come onto straight and narrow, and people just couldn't let it go. Like,
So how old are you, Hasan? If you don't mind me asking, you can give me a rough figure. You'd have to give me an accurate one.
it was all before 25, and was my real mad day. And then I had a little spurt between 30 and 35. And then I don't know, I think that was what my midlife crisis I put that down to, because I'm 47 years now and I've
How
not
old
had
are you
one.
now? How old are you now?
I'm 50. I'm
All
50
right.
now.
So
So I didn't have one at 40. I remember that. And I remember that I was thinking I might be going through my, like my crazy days of what I was meant to get at 40. But yeah, I went through it at 30, and I remember like looking at my kid. I was like, man, I need to sort myself out. Like, it's literally coming to my eyesight, And I was away from the family home as well, which made it a little bit easier. Like, I wouldn't have definitely been able to do that in my house. Like, that just wouldn't have been a possibility. My girl would have cut my throat, clean off my throat, just genuinely cut it.
So what have you learned? If there was one lesson that you could teach the world from your own shenanigans, of your own life story, what is that one lesson you'd like to teach the world?
Keep education going, and make sure you got yourself a reliable trade that has a great future outlook. Honestly.
Okay. So one more question. Do you honestly know the difference between free speech and being abusive?
I don't think there is one.
So you don't think that by using your free speech to personally attack somebody in a political arena is not abuse?
No, genuinely don't.
But that's my issue with you when you're personally attacking people, whether you like them or not, like Wendy and Jupiter. I think that's abusive. I'm not calling you an abuser. I think that's just abusive, and I think that's when free speech is being abused. That's what I mean. And
there's
I'd like
thing
to
that one place that I don't think free speech should be allowed. There's certain places that I really do. Like, for example, in like if you're going to the airport shouting out bomb, 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 you know, even really like generally talking in airports. If I had my way, I wouldn't have people talking. Just go to your checkout, get yourself checked onto the plane, get onto the plane, shut your mouth until you get to the end of the journey, and then when you get to meet your family, you could do your talking then. Do you understand me? Like, it's quite a stressful process going through that stuff, and the last thing you want is a person like me talking. And I'd recognize that for myself. It's like, just shut up, man. It's a stressful thing already. It's like the tube. We should be a bit more like the tube in England. Just shut up. Pick up a newspaper, keep yourself occupied, get off at the station, get off and get to your work. Do you understand me? It's not a fucking chatting up arena here. It's not like speaking should have a time and place for it. It shouldn't be just willingly given away so freely as it is. Understand me? But apart from that, yeah, like everywhere else, yeah, talk. Like sometimes in restaurants, maybe not. But apart from that, I'm free speech advocate to that degree. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say. Is my
Indeed.
view. Just
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Free speech is certainly important, though. Obviously, we certainly have slightly different versions of it installed in our mind. Right. Any final question from you, Banksy, before I let you go, mate? Banksy, put
No,
it down.
sorry, I jumped in on this thing. I just couldn't help it. But I shouldn't have jumped on your show, man. This was your interview.
I'm glad
No,
that you
thank
did,
you,
man.
thank you. It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
It
I'm
was good
glad you did as well. It's good to have you. Any final question from you, Banksy?
No final questions. I just want to say something about the free speech thing. Although I myself have been an abuser of words, if you will. So from my perspective, I think Hassan's right. You see, anything I say, if I'm challenging you, if I say something you don't like, then yes, it could be considered abusive because I'm trying to get to the truth or I'm trying to figure something out. So I'm being combative. But out and out gratuitous insults, I do agree that that isn't really a debate. That is what's known as a fallacy called an ad hominem. But just because you want to use an ad hominem, that doesn't mean that it's not valid or it doesn't have its place. I think taking a piss, having a joke, or even out and out insulting someone it has its place. But if you're overusing it, what happens is you lose the effect that it would have on the audience that you're trying to convey the message to. So it all depends on how you use it. But I don't think any speech is really abuse. You can say what you think. A person can choose to listen to you or ignore you. That is on them. Abuse, or should I say, offense, is taken. It's not given. Thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, Banksy. Appreciate that. So, Mr. Hasan Yilmaz, any final closing thoughts, opinions, free speech statements that you'd like to make?
I'm going to keep this nice this time. I was going to say something like the usual shit, but I'm going to be really nice. Please support, hit like, subscribe, leave your comments, and this favor, just remember Speakers Corner Online is the only place to go for your platform posts and all things nice. Keep it up and fuck Israel.
Banksy, I mean, Hasan, what are you doing? No, we do not condone effing anybody. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for coming on, Hasan, being honest and doing what you do. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Can I have 1 second more? Guys, please, if you really, really want to know a few things, there's this guy called Ryan Dawson. He's got some amazing facts in regards to 9/11, the nuclear bomb, trade secrets and materials getting stolen, by whom, when, and where. He's also got an amazing, and I mean an amazing map of the Epstein saga alongside the Biden saga. So please, 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 if you've got any doubt on what I say, go check out where my source is in regards to it. And again, Manny, thank you ever so much. I humbly allow the floor to you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Hasan. Thanks for coming on. Really nice to see you, and thanks for Banksy as well. Brilliant. Thanks, gentlemen. Right, so before we go, I'm going to share a video. This is made by a gentleman who's been on the show before, Open Your Eyes UK. He's making some amazing content. So this is his YouTube channel. I'll play the video first, and I'll share the link to his video. Let's have a look. So that was a video by Open Your Eyes UK, amazing YouTube channel. I'm going to now share with everybody his channel link. He is one of the biggest post maker on Speakers Corner online. So if you haven't already, so that's his link. I put it on all the channels that this is being streamed on. And let me, what else I was going to share with you. If you haven't already downloaded the Speakers Corner apps, you can have an Android app or you can have an iOS app. Let me put the links in the chat as well. We get some amazing feedback for the apps because they're fast and efficient. You only need an email address to sign up. So if you want to join Speakers Corner online, come on over. Now, let me tell you what we have coming this week. So Wednesday, that's day after tomorrow, we have the Manny and Banksy podcast, the SEO podcast, every Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Some important information, but this Friday will be a special. It will be a special live stream. Banksy and I will be in central London, and there's going to be some, shall we say, interesting Speakers Corner characters there. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, there's going to be some interesting characters that we're going to talk to. There's most likely going to be a crowd, and there's going to be some free-flowing champagne, I've heard, apparently. So let's see. So that's an exciting Friday coming up. But like I said, the next live stream is on Wednesday. And I've got nothing else to say. You guys have been awesome. You've stayed with us all the way through. Thank you to Sam M. I noticed that you were really keeping hold of some shenanigans in the chat. You should be a mod, I think, but they're not allowing any mods on at the moment. Why am I? Let me take this away. Bear with me. So they're not giving any mods because they want it to be as free speech and open platform as possible. But if anybody deserves it, Sam Hem, it's definitely you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's me done. Thank you very much. I'm going to now have a glass of water and do some reading. I shall see you very soon. Well, in fact, I'll see you on Wednesday.
He knew the world would not be the same. Few people laughed, few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty. To impress him, takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all felt that one way or another.